Hi everyone. Today we will discuss different types of suspension systems. It is torsion bar suspension system, shock absorbers, and independent suspension system. These topics we will discuss in this class. In previous class, we are discussed in the introduction of the suspension system and what are the objectives of suspension system. And what are the different types of suspension systems? It is mainly classified into two different types of suspension systems. One is dependent suspension system and another one is independent suspension system. In the dependent suspension system, it is also known as rigid axial suspension system. In this rigid axial suspension system, there are two types. Those two types we are already discussed in previous class. And also we will see what is independent system and what are the different types of independent system we already seen. So today we will see torsion bar suspension system, shock absorber suspension system, and independent suspension system. These topics we will discuss in this class. You can see what are the functions of suspension system. Mainly the suspension systems is used for supports the weight, provides a smooth ride. It allows rapid cornering without extreme body roll, keep tires in contact with the road, prevent excessive body squat, and it prevents the excessive body dive, allows the front wheels to turn side to side for steering, works with the steering system to keep the wheels in correct alignment. These functions we are already discussed. You can see what are the main two types of suspension systems. It is a rigid axial suspension system and a independent suspension system. You can observe this diagram. The first one is a rigid axial suspension system. The first one is rigid axial suspension system, and another one is independent type of suspension system. In this rigid axial suspension system, it has low speed bump with independent suspension system. Low speed bump with independent suspension system. That means a bump occurred if one wheel is hit that bump, automatically the vibration or the shocks is fall on the another wheel of that axle. So in this procedure occurred in the rigid axial suspension system. It is in this suspension system we are using only one type of axle. Only we are using one axle. In this independent suspension system, you can observe the suspension systems are arranged in this system individually to the wheels. There are different axles are used. The axles are connected to the individual to the automobile vehicle wheels. Okay. It's not only one axle we are using. It's different types of axles we are connected to the wheels, and these wheels are connected to the suspension system of springs. In this non-independent or rigid suspension system, it is the right and left wheel attached to the same solid axle. When one wheel hits a bump in the road, its upward movement causes a slight tilt of the other wheel. Automatically, the other wheel is also gets the shocks and vibrations of the vehicle. And you can see independent suspension system. It allows one wheel to move up and down with minimal effect to the other. It is the independent suspension system. And you can see what is the suspension systems. It is the independent suspension system and non-independent suspension system. You can observe the diagram. The non-independent suspension system, it has only one axle, that is the solid axle tilts. If the bump in the road, automatically the other wheel is also tilted. And the independent suspension system, the suspension system gives individually to that wheels, and the bump occurred automatically. It's not affect to that other wheel. only one wheel is affected to that bump occurred on the road road about this independent suspension system. Okay, you can see what are the different constructional details of the independent suspension system or any type of suspension system. You can see that the suspension system, what parts are involved in the suspension system. You can observe the diagram. It is the wheel. It is the wheel. This circular portion is the wheel. In this wheel is connected to the axle. In this axle have we are connected to coil springs and upper control arm, shock absorbers. The shock absorbers is placed in the coil spring and stabilizer, ball joints. These are all parts of the suspension system. And you can see there is a rear shackle and shock absorber. The shock absorber is enclosed with the coil, spring coil. Okay, if the coil spring, it is the most common type of spring found on modern vehicles, and leaf springs are now limited to the rear of some cars. Coil spring is the most common type in most of the vehicles and most of the automobile engineering. We are using coil springs. It has a good shock absorbing capacity. That's why we are using coil springs of suspension system. And leaf springs, leaf springs are now limited to the rear of some cars. Leaf springs are used in only some type of cars, only high amount of high load vehicles. These type of leaf springs we are using. Uh, why? Because the leaf springs are bear so much high amount of weights. That's why the leaf springs are used in trucks or high load vehicles, heavy amount of weight. That means containers. This type of vehicles, the leaf springs are used. Okay, you can see what are the types of springs. What type of springs we are used in the suspension system? One is coil spring, leaf spring, air spring, torsion bar. These are the different types of springs we are used in the suspension system. Coil springs, leaf springs, air springs, torsion bar springs. These are the different types of springs used in the suspension system. So in this suspension system, you can see what are the basic components, what are the basic parts of the suspension system. You can observe this diagram. It is the suspension system. It is the suspension system in automobile vehicles. Overall suspension system setup. You can see there is a different parts: spring, shock absorbers, overarm, control arms, ball joints, wheel. Okay, it is a lower arm and upper arm. These are the different components. And also you can see kingpin location, steering knuckle, axle. Okay, so these are the different parts of the suspension system. You can see what is control arm and why how it is useful to the suspension system in automobile vehicles. Control arm, it is mobile lever that fastens the steering knuckle to the vehicle's body or frame. It is a mobile lever. The control arm is a mobile lever. The control arm, it is the control arm. Okay, these control arms are the mobile levers. Control arms are the mobile levers that fastens the steering knuckle to the vehicle's body or frame. So this control arm is fixed to the steering knuckle or vehicle's body or frame. If the suspension occur, if any dips or bumps are occurred, first of all, these control arms are moving. These control arms should be expanded and it is moving. Steering knuckle, it provides a spindle or bearing support for the wheel hub, bearings and wheel assembly. Steering knuckle, you can see that steering knuckle, the steering knuckle is provides a spindle bearing support. The steering knuckle is provides the spindle bearing support for the wheel hub and bearings and wheel assembly. That is the steering knuckle. can see what are the types of independent suspension system. There are two types of independent suspension system, that is McPherson and Wishbone type of independent suspension system. uh, we will discuss this independent suspension system in detail about next class. First of all, you can see what is a torsion bar suspension system. What is torsion bar suspension system? You can see the torsion bar suspension system. uh, you can observe what are the different components and what are the different parts are involved in this torsion bar suspension system. The bar resists twisting action and acts like a conventional spring. The bar is resists twisting action. The twisting action occurred in the torsion, and it acts as a conventional spring. Okay, there is a ball joint upper. There is a ball joints upper and ball joints lower. Overflow shock absorbers, diagonal stud, rubber bushings. These are the different components. You can observe. Uh, it is the wheel. It is the overall setup of the torsion bar setup. Okay. It is the torsion bar. It is the torsion bar. The bar resists twisting action and acts like a conventional spring. This torsion bar, it is a twisting action movement occurred and it acts as a conventional spring. It acts as a conventional spring. You can observe the torsion bar. It has a large spring rod. A spring rod. It is the torsion bar. It is the torsion bar. You can observe this is the long spring rod. It is also known as long spring rod. It is the torsion bar. One end is attached to the frame and the other to the lower control arm. So the torsion bar, one end is connected to the frame and the other end is connected to the lower control arm of the suspension system. You can observe already known or already seen the components of the suspension system. There is a ball joint upper and ball joints lower. There is a upper arm and lower arm. The ball joints upper, it means the upper joint and the lower joint. This torsion bar is connected, one end is connected to frame and another end is connected to the lower end of the arm. Okay, so it's up and down of the suspension system twists the torsion bar. If the up and downs occur in the suspension system, that means there is a bump or dips are occurred on the road. It should be it should getting shocks or vibrations. So in that shocks and vibrations, there is getting up and down motions. Up and down motions of the suspension system twists the torsion bar. Twists the torsion bar. It will then try to return to its original shape, moving the control arm to its original place. It will then try to return to its original shape. It will gain the original shape, and it also moving the control arm to its original place. And the shocks are occur and the vibrations or dips are occurred. It will get the original shape and moving the control arm to its original shape. Okay, so what are the advantages and disadvantages of this torsion bar suspension system? You can see what are the advantages. It is light in weight, less space occupies, its maintenance cost is less, initial cost is less, ride comfort is more. So in the torsion bar, there are different advantages. The torsion bar suspension system has very less weight. and less space occupies. It should not occupy the high amount of space. It should occupy only less amount of space, and its maintenance cost is less. So the maintenance cost of the torsion bar suspension system is very less. Initial cost is less, ride comfort is more. Okay. So disadvantages, it does not take accelerate and braking thrust, so required additional linkages. So it does not take directly to the accelerate positions or braking system. That type of suspension system, that acceleration and braking system, this torsion bar suspension system is not directly taking. Some amount of different linkages and additional linkages are used to connect these suspension system. It is one disadvantage, and due to lack of friction damping is necessary due road shocks. Due to lack of friction damping forces is applied on the road necessary due to road shocks. What are the applications of these torsion bar suspension system? SUV Tata Safari and Tempo tracks. In these automobile vehicles, we are using torsion bar suspension system. SUV Tata Safari and Tempo tracks. And next one, shock absorbers. Shock absorbers suspension system. In this shock absorber suspension system, it is a limits spring compression extension movements to smooth the vehicle's ride. So the vehicles running smooth on the road, we are arranging shock absorbers. In these shock absorbers, what are the different components? You can see that shock absorber. There is a coil spring. There is a coil spring is arranged on the shock absorber, and this there is a bump or dips or suspension occurred of any type of automobile vehicle. This coil spring is take the suspension, and it will give the better ride on the road. Okay, so without shock absorbers, the vehicle would continue to bounce up and down long after striking dip or hump on the road. So we are not using shock absorbers on the automobile vehicles. There is a bumps occurred, bounces occurred, and long after striking dips or hump in the roads occur, the vehicle should be damaged, and the passenger is also suffered in that. There is no suspension system available on that vehicle. The passenger is also uh, effect due to that different bumps and different vibrations and different shocks are getting. We are not using different shock absorbers. Okay, that's why mainly we are using suspension systems on the automobile vehicles. So one of the suspension system is shock absorber. So the shock absorbers are mainly uh, used in the different automobile vehicles. You can see the what are the different components and what is the connection of the shock absorber in the automobile vehicle. uh, in many of automobile vehicles, the shock absorbers are compulsory used. You can see there is a coil spring. In that coil spring there is a shaft, and outer case we are arranging casing of this coil spring. That's overall setup we are known as shock absorbers. A shaft is moving up and down motions to that inner coil springs. Okay, this coil spring is directly arranged to the axles of the four wheels, and directly at a arranged to the wheels of the two-wheeler automobile vehicles. Okay, so if there is any bumps or dips are occurred, first this suspension system should take that shocks and vibrations and to give the better ride on the road. You can see that leaf spring assembly. In that leaf spring assembly, uh, there is a leaf springs. These leaf springs are bear very high amount of weights. It give the better suspension to the high load vehicles running on the road. Okay, so those are torsion bar suspension system and um, shock absorber suspension system. You can see what is a independent suspension system. What is independent suspension system and what are those different types of independent suspension system? So in that independent suspension system, there is a two types of independent suspension system. One is MacPherson strut type suspension system and a wishbone type suspension system. You can see the wishbone type suspension system. The suspension system must be designed in such a way as to keep the wheel upright for maximum tire contact and to minimize the tire wear. So in this wishbone type suspension system, the tire is maximum contact to the surface of the road. That means the maximum tire is contact to the road, and it has a uh, it minimize the tire wear. So the tire wear resistance is very less in this type of wishbone suspension system. The upper wishbone is short and lower wishbone is longer. You can see the wishbones. You can see the wishbones. It is the overall setup of the wishbone suspension system. You can see the upper wishbone and lower wishbone. These are the wishbones. These are the wishbones. One is upper wishbone and lower wishbone. So the upper wishbone is short and the lower wishbone is longer. The lower wishbone is longer compared to the upper wishbone. Both wishbones, pivot points, and lengths are calculated to provide the best operating angle for a given suspension movement. Both wishbones, that is upper wishbone and lower wishbones, are pivots points and lengths are calculated to provide the best operating angle, and it will give the best suspension system to that vehicle. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this wishbone type of independent suspension system? Ride quality is good, improve the steering preciseness since the wheel movement are not linked, ground clearance is increased, and the initial and the what are the advantages? It is initial cost is more, maintenance cost is more required, frequent wheel alignment otherwise increased tire wear. These are the disadvantages of the wishbone type of independent suspension system. And what are the applications of wishbone type of suspension system? It is used in SUV and cars. Okay, this type of automobile vehicles, we are using wishbone type of suspension system. And next one, MacPherson type of suspension system. So in this MacPherson strut type of suspension system, there is a strut assembly. In that strut assembly, we are using coil springs. We are using coil springs and struts of the suspension system. It is a very popular and efficient form of suspension. It has one control arm and a strut assembly. A coil spring and shock absorber will normally form parts of the strut assembly. You can see the strut assembly. It is the strut assembly. It is the strut assembly. In that strut assembly, we have placed the shock absorber and a coil. Shock absorber and a coil. In this strut assembly is fixed to the knuckle. Is fixed to the knuckle, and the knuckle is connected to the control arm. Control arm and the coil spring is also used in this strut type of suspension system. Okay, the coil springs may be mounted on the control arm instead of being around the strut. On this type of shock absorbers connected to the knuckle to the frame. So this shock absorber, one is connected to the frame, one end is connected to the shock absorber, one end is connected to the frame, and another end of shock absorber is connected to the knuckle. In this shock absorber is enclosed with the coil spring, is enclosed with the coil spring, and this knuckle is connected to the uh, control arm. In this control arm, one end of knuckle is connected to shock absorber and another end is connected to the control arm. Okay, so that is a MacPherson strut type, and you can see there is a front suspension MacPherson strut type suspension system. If this MacPherson strut type suspension system is used in front wheels, you can see basic MacPherson strut design: shock absorber and springs, steering link, car frame, lower control arm. These are the different components of the MacPherson strut type of suspension system. And you can see the MacPherson strut type suspension system. The top of the strut is bolted to the a reinforced section of the frame structure. You can see the top of strut is bolted to the reinforced section. You can see this strut. It is the strut. This strut is bolted to reinforced section of the frame. Reinforced section of the frame structure. The lower end of the strut. You can see the lower end of the strut. It is the upper end of the strut. It is the lower end of the strut. It is attached to the steering knuckle. It is attached to the steering knuckle. And the control arm is also attached to the steering knuckle. The control arm, it is the control arm. This control arm is also attached to the knuckle. Okay. Control arm is also attached to the steering knuckle. And the control arms are mounted on a cradle section of the frame. The control arms are connected to the frame. An anti-roll bar links to the two control arms together to reduce sway. The two control arms to reduce to sway on the MacPherson strut type of suspension system. You can see what are the parts. It is strut, frame, control arm, cradle. It is the cradle, and anti-roll bar, steering knuckle, steering knuckle. Okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this MacPherson strut type of suspension system? You can observe what are the advantages. It is light in weight. The camber does not change due to up and movement of wheels. Maximum engine compartment available. Maintenance cost is less. Initial cost is less. Ride comfort is more. Improve road safety. These are the advantages of MacPherson strut type of suspension system. And disadvantages, you can see, not suitable for heavy motor vehicles. Load carrying capacity is less. It is not suitable for heavy motor vehicles. That means trucks or trolleys or any containers. This type of automobile vehicles, we are not using this MacPherson strut type of suspension system. Only small amount of vehicles we are using this type of suspension system. And next one, load carrying capacity is less. So the load carrying capacity is very less. If there is a high dips or high dips are occurred on this MacPherson type of suspension system, should not getting high amount of suspension system to give that vehicle. That's why it is one disadvantages of this suspension system. And what are the applications? This type of suspension systems are mainly used in the different types of cars. Okay. It is MacPherson type of suspension system. And you can see there is a what is the solid rear axial suspension system. The solid rear axial suspension system has a one solid axle, and this solid axle is connected to the shock absorbers or coil springs. It is also known as dependent suspension system. Okay. So what are the basic components of the independent suspension system? You can see the basic components of the suspension system. Ball joints. The ball joints is the swivel joint that allows the control arm and steering knuckle to move up and down and slide to side. The ball joints is used to connect the swivel joints and allow the control arm and the steering knuckle to move up and down motions and side to side motion of the vehicle. And springs supports the weights of the vehicle, permits the control arm and wheel to move up and down. The springs are used to support the weight of the vehicle and permits the control arm and wheel to move up and down. And shock absorbers are dampers, keeps the suspension from continuing to bounce after spring compression and extension. And control arm bushings, sleeves that allows the control arm to swing up and down on the frame. These are already discussed. So these are all different types of different parts in the suspension system. You can see what is air suspension system, and what are the different components, and what is the layout of air suspension system. There is the air springs, and uh, leveling wall, lift control wall, and supply line and return line. In that, lift control valve is connected to the relief valve, air accumulator, compressor, air filter, air from atmosphere. You can see the rear side of the vehicle. There is a air springs and a leveling walls. It is the layout of the air suspension system. Schematic view of air suspension system in the automobile vehicles. There is a air spring bag, gas shocks, air compressor that, and a solenoid. You can see these are the solenoids. One is air spring bag. It is the air spring bag. Okay, air spring bags. These air spring bags, and gas gas shocks. These are the gas shocks. And next, air compressor. Third one is air compressor. This is the air compressor. And fourth one, air compressor dryer. Air compressor dryer. Fifth one, solenoid. Fifth one, solenoid. These are the solenoids. And sixth one, height sensor. Sixth one is the height sensor. And seventh one, control module. Seventh one is the control module. These are the different components involved in the air suspension system. Okay, so advantages and disadvantages. Variable space for wheel deflection is put for optimum use of automatic height control. Headlight alignment does not vary due to different loading condition. Improve the ride comfort. Reduce noise suspension system. And applications, you can see uh, these type of suspension system we are using Volvo buses. Okay. So these are the different components of the shock absorbers. Compression and extension. If the compression occurred, that means there is a bump or dip occur, automatically the shock absorbers take the shocks, and it will compress the spring. Okay. There is a piston rod, reservoir, bypass spring, restriction ports, piston, compression head orifice, compression head. These are the different components of the shock absorber. You can observe the what is the action, action, and extension action of the shock absorbers. Okay. So it is overall about the uh, torsion bar suspension system and shock absorbers, and independent type of suspension system. In next class, we will discuss braking systems. Okay. So thank you guys.